Hey everyone, it's Tuesday, August 7th, 2018, and it's time to go work on music. It's been a fantastic day. I'm in a really good place, and excited for a productive session as usual. Gonna hit some online classes here, update you guys with what's going on there, as I typically do. Gonna hit the Armin van Buuren master class and hardcore tracking class. Gonna squeeze a quick drum practice in, just keep the blood flowing there. And then going to keep working on this master. I'm definitely feeling like a little fatigue of working on it so much, but what I'll probably do is just go back to the strictly academic stuff, or maybe start the Fiction of the Dig Pimp one, and just try to get something fresh as far as what I'm listening to and my ears go. Because I really just want to get this thing knocked out and get to the next level as quickly as possible. And sometimes it's time to just, put in the time, regardless of how we're feeling about it. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions as we go through the session, and I'll update you at the end with what I accomplish. Here we go. Okay, really good session. It's funny, sometimes the shorter sessions end up being better because there's no room to improvise or overthink things. It's like I gotta just get in there and get work done and make decisions quickly, and I think that's the benefit of having time pressure. And I think there's times and places to create that pressure, and then times and places to not have it be too intense, so you can experiment and feel free to try things out and have things not work and learn. So I'm just trying to figure out where that sweet spot is for me right now, but yeah, really pleased with what I got done today. I got into the online class front, hit the Armin van Buuren class, and he was just talking about how he uses loudness meters and limiting and multiband compression at the end of his tracks to get different types of effects. So for releases, he'll use multiband compression on the master bus, which is like the very end of the signal chain before it gets to the listener, or the speakers, as it were. But when he does big shows on really massive sound systems, he'll often take off the multiband compressor because he knows the transients are really going to come through and the music is just going to be a lot punchier on those really big sound systems, which I think is really interesting. And I think that's like the type of thing you can only learn from an artist who performs in those types of situations, right? Like 150,000 person audiences or something like that. Who knows how much they get paid to do that stuff? It's crazy, but yeah, really, really cool. And then got into the hardcore tracking class. Again, they're just using the computer to break down little parts, comp a bunch of stuff together to get everything super clean and super perfect, breaking down lead riffs, solos, melodies, and stuff into these smaller little segments so the player can play them perfectly clean. And I totally see the value of it. You get way less fret noise, your tuning issues are a lot easier to control, and if something's off, you don't have to do 100 takes of something that was 90% great already. You can just go back and punch in and fix a couple notes here, a couple notes there, or something like that. So I totally see why people do it. I think it's just part of my evolution is deciding how much I want to kind of take from the fruit of the computer, which makes everything just easier to do. I don't think making things easy is always the best way to do things, but making things hard just for the sake of making them hard, if there's no real benefit, then what is the point of that? So just something for me to meditate on, and I have more tools in my tool belt now, and I can feel free to experiment and use what seems right to me. And of course, those judgment calls are a lot of what make us artists and a lot of what creates our identity as artists. From there, I got a quick drum practice in. That felt great. It feels really good to play every day. And then from there, I spent about 20 minutes working on the strictly... I listened back to the Midas and Myth masters that I currently have, and the good news is both of them are really good. That's something that I should acknowledge, just because it's frustrating trying to figure out which one's better, or making these tiny little tweaks and changes and stuff. There's always one more thing to change. But I've got two that I'm happy with that could theoretically work, so now it's just about making a judgment call about which one's better and maybe adjusting the volume level. I think the one where I put the reverbs on the side of the track is just a little louder because there's more sonic information there, so I might just have to go in and knock it down a couple tenths of a dB or something to get it to balance with the Into Infinity track, but getting closer to having this thing done, which is really exciting. Got into the strictly academic stuff I was working on yesterday. It didn't sound as bad as I thought it did. I went back and did some edits just with fresh ears about where I wanted the kick drum placed in the mix, where I wanted the snare placed in the mix, and just getting things to rebalance after doing some EQs. I started doing some EQs, linear EQs, into the Ozone plugin, just to shape the track a little bit before it starts getting into the stereo processing and the compressors and all that kind of stuff that I'm using. And I use a little bit of the adaptive limiter right before I go into the compressor as well. No gain on it, but just tapping out some of the big transients so that Ozone's just working a little less hard, and then I feel like I get fewer weird artifacts and distortion and stuff because I'm doing a lot of heavy processing on these songs, more than I would prefer to do, but it's like I felt like I had to grab hold of the songs and reshape them into something that they weren't before, and that they might have been intended to be, but I just didn't have the knowledge or the sonic understanding to, wrangle them into where I wanted them to be. So it's almost like melting down an old sword and remaking it into something that's different than just starting with fresh metal and then making something exactly, the way you wanted it to be from the very beginning. So it's a really interesting process and definitely a great learning experience. So yeah, I'm happy with where it's sitting right now. It feels a lot better. The groove's a lot stronger. I'm getting a lot more of the low end to come through, and I'm just getting a lot more sound of the original mix to happen. I think I got into a place yesterday where my ears were a little off, and so I was kind of strangling it, which is never good. So that's where I'm at today. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys are out there grinding towards your goals, enjoying the process. That's what I'm out here doing. And I will see you guys tomorrow for more. Can't wait.